All right, Kia, take it away.
Alrighty, well, first, again, thank you guys for taking the time to hop on. We're very excited to present this for you today. As Camille mentioned, my name is Kia Henderson. I'm a commercial banker at Chase. I've been in banking for about 6 years now, born and raised in St. Louis, spent a little time in Dallas, a little time in KC, but eventually made my way back home. And like Camille said, been involved with STL Youth Jobs, hosted a few events in partnership with them on behalf of Chase, and really just excited to continue to strengthen this relationship and get to meet all of you guys. So we'll go ahead and get us kicked off. So for our panelists, just go ahead and introduce yourselves with a brief introduction and tell us about your business. And I'll go ahead and just start with Brandon.
Hey guys, my name is Brandin Vaughn. I own a store called the Brandin Vaughn Collection, where we make everything in store. I'm a fashion designer. I started off as a pattern maker in Chicago, and then I went on to do some celebrity styling. I've worked with Beyonce, Vivica Fox, Megan Good, Isley Brothers. But right now my store is located on Cherokee Street, 2604 Cherokee Street, where we make everything in store. I like to tell my clients that we take it from the page to the body, meaning we start with a sketch and end up with an actual garment. And that's me.
That's awesome. I love to hear that development and that path to where you are today. So thank you for that, Brandon. Go ahead and kick it to Leslie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leslie McClelland. I am the current office manager at AG Photography. We are located in North Oaks Plaza, which is in North County. We specialize in weddings, videography, family shoots, maternities, real estate, and any additional photography needs. I started doing photography back in 2009. I worked for a company called Olin Mills. They used to be inside of Kmart. Really loved the passion. They closed the store, and I kind of walked into this place and been here since then.
I'm going to interrupt real quick because I see that Tasha's hopped on. Tasha, if you can, do you want to do a brief introduction of yourself as well?
Hi, my name is Tasha Smith. I am the owner of Burger 809, and we are a small takeout and catering company located in Cherokee Street across from Brandin Vaughn. We've been in business, this will be our 6th year this year. We started off as just catering, and we are just a tiny takeout spot on Cherokee now. So I'm excited to be a part of this business panel, and I look forward to speaking with the youth.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Leslie.
Leslie, I have a wedding coming up, so I'll reach out to you on that videographer.
Absolutely, we got you covered.
All right, so moving into our next question. How did you transform an idea, your passion, whatever your hobby or interest was, into being a business, taking that entrepreneurial spirit and just turning what you were interested in into a business? And I'll go reverse this time. I'll start with Tasha.
Thank you. Well, we started off just catering like small events for like friends and families and things like that. And then we branched off into small business organizations. But my passion for food has always been, I had a passion for just good service, great quality ingredients. And I just felt like the St. Louis scene was lacking, the type of restaurant that I really wanted. Just kind of small bites of food, maybe burgers with non-traditional sides. And so Burger 809 just started just from a passion of me loving food and wanting to provide a great experience for customers. And so while we can't really have that dining room experience now in our location, I still want people to feel like they're, coming to a friend's or family house for a great meal. And so just, I guess that kind of sums it up, but I just wanted to create something I think that wasn't around.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Leslie, what about you? How'd you, different field, but you still have a passion for photography, so.
Yes, and I did get some information from the owner. So initially what he stated was, so he was inspired by local photographers when he attended college in Jackson State, in Jackson, Mississippi. While he was attending college, he interned with celebrity photographer, and it kind of became a passion for him. Once he left college and graduated, he knew he wanted to own a business. He just kind of didn't know what it was at the time. So it kind of fell in his lap, photography, from him interning at with the local photographers in Jackson, Mississippi. So when he got back to St. Louis, he saved up about $3,000 and he bought his first camera, lights, equipment, and things of that nature, and kind of went from there on a limb. And now we're at the studio that we have in North County.
Nice. And Brandon?
I got my start early. I was always in the thrift stores because we just didn't have money as a kid, you know, so we shopped in the thrift stores. And I would start taking stuff apart and putting it back together, you know, just to keep up with the Joneses so I wouldn't get talked about in school, you know. And before you knew it, like, people wanted to start buying what I was making. So I got my start early in high school and knew that this would be a art that I can make a lifestyle and really make a living from it. And then I really got serious about it when I was 23 and I decided to go to college. I went to the Art Institute in Chicago, and I really figured out what it took to make a good quality garment. Then I went into pattern making, and I did pattern making for 5 years in the industry. And now I'm making my own everything.
That's awesome. So we've got two different kind of routes here. So Tasha and Brandon already had the passion there, and then they turned that into a business. Whereas Alan knew that he wanted to be an entrepreneur, knew that he wanted to work for himself, but really just had to figure out how to make that happen, and just kind of stumbled across that internship, which opened up that opportunity for him. So I think that's really important for you guys to recognize. Even if you don't know what it is today, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit within you, just keep your eyes peeled, look for opportunities. Like Tasha said, she realized that St. Louis was missing that kind of niche market, and that was an opportunity that she took advantage of. So sometimes it could just happen for you. So if that's something that you're feeling, just make sure that you just kind of keep that spirit alive. So awesome. Anything that any three of you would add to that?
I think you know very, very early, like if you want to work for yourself or not. And I think you know very early if you have something that is creative that you want to make a living of. And I just encourage all of you, like if you have an idea, like, start now. Like it's never too early to start, because you know you're going to have your ups and downs. So if the earlier you start, the more faster you'll get to success, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I think I'll add to that too. I don't know, many of you might not know, but I used to be a job coach for the STL youth jobs. And so, you know, this part of my business I was also doing as a job coach. And so you may be, you know, taking on a summer job or working a job currently that you don't feel meets, you know, your route of, you know, what you want to do. You know, just figure out what can you take from that job. You know, maybe it's money management, communication, is rubbing elbows with people, you know, who you may, you know, need to, you know, use to get up the ladder at some point. But, you know, do it in conjunction. You know, you don't have to, you know, just go all out on your dreams if you're not ready for that. You can also work a job, you know, or go all out and, you know, take a chance on yourself. But whatever you do, just get started.
Yeah. Like Tasha said, even if because you know it'll take some grind to get something started, some cash to get going. So even if you are working a 9-to-5 or whatever it is, and you've got a 40-hour-a-week job, but you know that you want to work for yourself and you've got a passion that you want to turn into, you know, some revenue, some money coming in, make sure that you're taking that time to work for yourself too. You going to work, you're working for them, you're making them money. You might be working a little bit of that money, but like make sure that you're setting aside a time aside for yourself to work on your passions, your hobbies, and growing that too. So like Tasha said, whatever you're gaining from that job, make sure that you're taking that time to invest in yourself too, if that's what you want to do. So. All right, keeping it pushing on to question number 3. What is the best advice you have for a young person? So 15-24, STL youth job range there, aspiring to be an entrepreneur or a business owner today. And this time we'll start with Leslie.
Awesome.
I'm keep mixing it up on you guys.
So the best advice that I can give from experience, for one, you have to be dedicated. Dedication and longevity is definitely what's going to take you far in whatever avenue that you choose to do. If you make a plan, making a plan doesn't do anything if you don't execute the plan. So you have to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk. You do have to walk the walk. And then expect errors and mistakes. With good things, there's always going to be some type of downfall. That doesn't mean you're going to lose everything, but expect for things to not go the way that you're planning them to go. And with those expectations and those guidelines, everything will be fine.
That's awesome advice. All right, let's kick it over to Brandon.
What's the question again?
So just your best advice for a young person who's looking to become an entrepreneur or a business owner?
Don't give up. Like if you're gonna do it at 100%. Do it in beast mode. Do it and don't give up, because it's gonna be days where like there's nobody buying anything. There's nobody believing in you. There's nobody really that you feel like that's coming to support you. Like that's when you're gonna be like at your worst, but you can't give up. You can't give up. And you got to just keep pushing through. That's yeah. You got to believe in yourself, like you want the world to believe in you.
Yeah, because you don't.
Be right, because nobody else will. So keep yourself encouraged, be self-motivated, and be consistent with whatever you're doing, like, and don't give up.
Great. And Tasha, same question, your best piece of advice for a young person looking to become a business owner?
Everything Leslie said and everything Brandon said, take it serious, believe in yourself. But, I think like boss and, entrepreneurship is like a big trend right now. And you hear about it a lot, but, we don't hear about just, being the best where you're at right now. And so if you're an employee, be the best employee, because, you're going to be a boss someday and they're going to remember, how was that person when they were an employee? You want to keep that same mindset. You may be just a cashier, but in the back of your mind, think about, you're going to be, the head of this company or the head of some company, so you want to carry yourself that way, just show integrity, believe in yourself, definitely, invest in yourself. Those small decisions that you make every day, those become bigger decisions and outcomes. And so think about that, am I spending this money? Is it helping me reach my entrepreneurial goal, or is it taking me a step back? And if you question everything about that, is this bite of cheeseburger taking me, closer to my diet goal, my weight goal, or is it pushing me back? And so, just take it into small pieces, but do whatever you want to do. If you want to set your mind to it, put in the work and, make it happen.
Yeah, couple of really good key tidbits there that I want to point out. Like Tasha mentioned, be the best at the job that you have, because to get to that next step, like I just always try to remind myself that there's somebody working to get to where I am today. So if I'm trying to get to that next step and there's somebody trying to beat me out for where I am, you just always have to keep yourself motivated, always got to keep pushing yourself. But like Leslie and Brandon mentioned, you are going to run into obstacles, but through that adversity, that's where growth happens. Success isn't a straight path. I know people say that all the time, but through those kind of turns and twists and turmoils that you might experience, that's where you really begin to learn and you grow and you become a better individual and a better business owner. And especially, I'm sure these business owners can tell you that it's not always just going to be what's happening in your own life, the economy, pandemic, all. Like you never know what's gonna kind of hit and turn, but if you're staying true to what it is that you want to do and to your passion and you believe in yourself, you just gotta keep pushing forward. Good. All right, our next question. So describe a time that you made a mistake during your professional development, and what advice would you give to others on how to prevent or address that mistake? So let's start with Brandon there. He looks ready.
Describe a time that I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go with a customer neckline. It wasn't laying right. And I just thought it was, and the customer came in, and it just didn't work out. But I had to keep working with her in order to satisfy the customer. But the point is, just meet it head on. Like any problem, any mistake that you have, just go head on with it and figure out how do you fix it, or figure out how you undo it. Because a lot of people, they come into problems and then they fall into depression and then they get overwhelmed, and that's not how we solve problems. And as a business owner, you have to know how to solve problems very quickly. So I encourage you all to just, like, if there's an issue, meet it head on, ask what is the problem if you don't understand it, and then come up with uh, a way to either satisfy your customer or uh, make the situation better. Did I answer that?
Yes, I'm just dealing with some tech stuff here, but I'm
Okay.
getting it figured out.
All right, Leslie, what do you got for us?
So I did have a challenging time with this question. I really don't have like a specific mistake for the professional development, because everything we do is trial and error. So we really don't consider it a mistake. We just will try something new. We try things, and if it doesn't work out, then I mean, it's not necessarily a mistake, it's just a growing experience. And we evaluate it and see what we can do better.
Yeah.
Advice I would give on how to prevent or address a mistake, adding on to what Brandon said, anytime we have issues with any type of customers, and generally when you're an entrepreneur, you will have some type of customer base. Don't back down, because you do have some people who like, oh, the customer's always right, and I spent my money with you and it's what I say. You have to, if you have guidelines, if you have a contract, if you have anything in place, you stand firm of what your rules are, and you just don't back down, because some people will try to get you to back down. And just don't be afraid of saying like, hey, my bad, I'm sorry, and you compensate them. You compensate them if what's feasible for you, and you just keep moving. If you guys can get to a mutual agreement and an understanding, then you take it from there. And sometimes you will need to take a break. Like if you see they're angry, you're angry, like today ain't a good day to talk. Let's try this tomorrow. And it's okay to tell people that you want to communicate with your customers, because you are a real person and they are too. And life is life. We don't need to be yelling at each other because nothing gets solved. So yeah, and in my field specifically, we do a lot of events, we do a lot of photography. So we do have staff that we schedule out to go and do different events for us. So one issue that we have came across numerous times is our staff. Depending on other people. Sometimes we're depending on other people. They don't always come through for you, especially with like the pandemic that just recently happened. Oh, I got COVID, or I have my kids are sick, or they don't have a daycare, or these issues. Just always keep that mindset that with you being the owner and it's your business, if somebody doesn't show up, if somebody can't make it, guess who has to open their door? So always be prepared to be there when somebody else cannot. That's it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're the one responsible for getting that done. Camille, I can't turn my video on. Oh, here we go. There we go. It wouldn't let me. It said that you had blocked me. So there we go. I'm on my phone now. But that's one of those things. You just got to pivot. You got to keep going. All right, Tasha, what about you? A mistake that you made on your road to professional development, and how you address that, or your advice for how someone could handle it?
Yeah, well, make sure you're able to pivot, having that plan B. It means pulling it to the McDonald's driveway just so you can use the Wi-Fi to get on the Zoom meeting, just making sure, yeah, making sure you show up. I've learned a lot of things through making mistakes in this business, and a lot of, money mistakes where you're, whether big money items or either, you know, just a mistake on whether you're underestimating your time. You know, maybe you undercharged a client or something, and, you know, is your cost on the back end. You know, just making sure that, you know, you are human, understanding that, but also just, you know, looking for what can be done better. You know, we might not call our mistakes mistakes. Sometimes I say I take L's all the time, you know, but oftentimes if I take a L or make a mistake, you know, something greater comes after that. But, you know, just being able to pick yourself back up. As a job coach, one thing I learned, you know, about deadlines and things like that. And my boss was Patrick at the time. And so, you know, let's say I missed turning in a report and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to, you know, do the report. You know, I would go ahead and let him know up front, like, you know, hey, Patrick, you know, I didn't turn the report in, you know, but I will have it to you by 9 a.m. And he was like, oh, okay. You know, and it was all, and so that was me, you know, I was able to manage up. And, you know, if you make a mistake, you know, let the person know, you know, hey, I forgot to take the, you know, camera, to say the camera for their wedding, the footage for their wedding, you know, what do we do? You know, you don't want to, you know, cover a mistake up because it'll come back to bite you, you know, so just owning up to your mistakes and figuring out what can be done better.
Yes,
And,
accountability.
and can I add one more thing?
Of course.
Tasha, she started off and she's saying, she said there was a lesson, like she learned. And I think after the mistake, it's very important that you reevaluate what happened and then figure out like where you went wrong and what was the lesson out of it and how you can apply that to your contracts or whatever the situation is next time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and for my career, that's something that I've had to learn, just to be accountable for myself, and, you know, like Tasha said, just owning up to your mistakes. And I think you can even apply that in school. Like a lot of times, like professors will say, like, you can get an extension with, you know, approval, but if you're just kind of honest and open and letting them know where you're at with things that are going on, that's really all you can do, is just provide people with the information that you have, and then, you know, leave it to them to make a decision. And I think as a business owner, all of that responsibility inevitably falls on you. So you got to be ready to take ownership for all of that. So.
Thank you all for sharing that. And I want to add to that too, of just sometimes we're conditioned to think that mistakes are the end of the world. And we are all human and we will make mistakes. And I think once we learn to accept that, and some people are already great at doing this, I had to learn that in my younger years, but mistakes make us human and they make us better when you can learn that valuable lesson. I think some of the best things that have ever happened to me have been mistakes, because I made things 1,000 times better after that. So don't be afraid. And all our business owners and entrepreneurs here know that you got to try, you got to take risks. And sometimes that means a mistake.
Yeah, that L is not a lesson.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up one of our participants. Brandon asked a really great question early on that you all kind of touched on this in your discussion earlier, but does anyone want to add to the question is, when you're feeling discouraged, what do you do to get back into that focused, positive mindset?
I either
help me with this too.
I either will take a trip, or I will turn on some music and have a dance party, or I'll put myself around other creatives and start bouncing ideas. That's a very, very important thing, to be around like-minded people. Because when you're around like-minded people, you know, the iron sharpens iron, you know, and they may have an idea that, or a certain way of looking at things that you just could not see unless you had that conversation. So it's always good to be around other people and, you know, be inspired.
I definitely agree with that. I wanted to hear what Brandon had to say. You know, that's something that we tackle on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, is staying motivated and remembering, you know, why did I get started? You know, when you're thinking about stopping, you know, like forgetting everything, think about why you got started. And, you know, that usually reinvigorates you to keep going. You know, definitely. And I think I need to, you know, focus on that too. It's like leaning on other people, you know, who may be, you know, doing the same thing you're doing. Maybe there's the person to uplift you, you know, they're just doing something positive. So lean on people. But, you know, always just kind of, you know, stay true to yourself, but work hard.
Yeah, I like that. The support groups are definitely key, because you will have those moments where you're not feeling as motivated, and sometimes when you have people around you that know why you got started, they could definitely help to remind you of that, and you know, give you that push you need to keep going. So whether that's family, friends, you know, people within your industry, a mentor, just you know, people that are invested in you and in your growth, and you feel that genuine support and feeling from that. So those are my 2 cents. All right, let's get the chat popping. And anybody have any questions?
Get the chat popping. Let's get the chat popping.
It's okay to whatever people feel more comfortable doing. If you want to unmute at this time, and we can go one at a time at that, or you can enter in the chat as well.
We've got one from Bren. What is your biggest accomplishment that's happened in your business?
Starting it. It took a lot to start. It took a lot to make it official. And I think a lot of it was just getting over being scared of failing. And once you get out of that fear, that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, you can do anything once the fear is gone. So just starting the business, and then being open for 5 years and still going strong, you know.
Any of our other panelists have anything to add to that? Your biggest accomplishment? Okay. So your time to boast.
I'm gonna go in circles again. One of our biggest accomplishment to me, this is just my personal opinion, when the pandemic hit, to be able to still financially survive. And then we were able to because we had to shut down because we weren't non-essential. So to be able to still be able to financially survive for us, the company, as well as the staff, and being able to reopen and go full-fledged, like it has not stopped. So knowing that we still have a lot of supporters, a lot of people who still believe in us, we believe in ourselves. I think that's one of our biggest accomplishments, because a lot of people did not recover and have not and will not recover from this pandemic.
Yeah, seen a lot of businesses close, unfortunately. So I'm glad to see that all 3 of you were able to make it to the other side. From all of that. All right, Tasha, your biggest accomplishment?
I would have to agree. Look, getting started, staying open. You know, we're finna celebrate 6 years this year, and when you think about that, you know, like stats say that most businesses fail within the first 5 years, and so, you know, that's a definitely accomplishment. But just getting started alone, you know, is powerful in itself. You know, just to file for like a LLC, you can do that, you know, minimal cost, and you know, you can sit on it for a year or 2. But just taking that first leap, you know, is a step that you're taking to build your dreams. My advice to myself, you know, would be like, just to, you know, get out of your own way, you know, believe in yourself. um, you know, don't try to wait till something's perfect. You know, just start where you're at. You know, what can I do now with this $50 or this $100? You know, so then when you get $1,000, you can have a different plan for that. Just believing in yourself, staying consistent, and understanding and knowing that, you know, you can accomplish something on Wednesday and then have a major failure on Friday. You know, but you have to get yourself back up and be prepared to figure out what Saturday and Sunday is going to look like, or next month. Um, so, you know, just to keep believing in yourself. It's an everyday thing, and you know, I encourage you just to get started.
and take the time to celebrate those smaller victories. Because like Tasha said, you never know when something else might happen, but you have to take the time to kind of bask in your own glory and enjoy the moment, because it'll help when you're feeling that kind of discouragement or lacking some motivation to look back on those moments. If you really take the time to live in that moment and not getting so caught up on what the next step is, because you got to remember there was a time that you were striving to be where you're at today. Like, so don't get too lost in the long term, and you know, you still got a plan, you still got to have it there, but if you have the plan, you trust the plan, you could take the time to enjoy the journey too. So all righty. Have you faced competition with your business? So I'm sure all of you have in fashion, photography, and in the food industry. So how do you handle that competition? And I think kind of an additional question to that is just kind of how did you find your competitive advantage, and how did you really capitalize or take advantage of that?
Okay, well, I guess I'll go first.
I'll start that back up. Directly.
So yes, with photography, you pretty much can go to Walmart, Shearer's, any camera store, buy a camera, and hey, you're a photographer. There are a lot of photographers that I do know that have their own companies. However, I'm a little more personal when it comes down to our business, as well as more detailed. So when it comes to the competition, it's really not an issue, because I feel like it's enough money out here for everybody. I'm not greedy. So that's one mindset, knowing that like it's okay to share. Like, you don't have to make all the money in the world. You're not gonna make it. Like, it's too many people in the world for you to make all of it. So you just need to make what's yours, and what's yours is gonna come to you. And just kind of, if you can create a relationship with those competitors, and you guys bounce ideas off of each other, when those breakdowns come, you know, you'll have people to talk to and kind of help keep you on your path as far as your business. So it's not always a bad idea with competition, because your competition, you know, you guys really aren't competing. You know, you both are doing what you're doing. You have two different names, two different brands. You're offering possibly the same things. We both can offer burgers, but that doesn't mean they're the same type of burgers. So you kind of, you know, get some ideas, give ideas, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Leslie. All right, here we go. Bouncing around again. All right, Tasha, what about you?
Okay, a lot of questions there. I'm trying to remember them all. You know what? Competition. You know what? I got so many things going on. I don't try to focus on, you know, what's considered competition. And I say that to say, and, you know, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Focus on what your mission is, you know, why you're getting started. You know, like there are tons of burgers, there are tons of, you know, clothing companies, tons of photography companies. And that's, you know, we want that, you know, the diversity, but focus on, you know, what you're doing. Focus on how to make yourself better. You know, those people that you consider competition, that could be, you know, they're also their colleagues. They're people in the industry who, you know what you're going through, you can bounce ideas off of, network with. You know, maybe as I grow more, you know, competition will be a bigger factor. But, you know, if your heart is in it and your focus is on making the best business you can, you know, those are things that you really don't want to worry about. You know, they are important as you're developing, you know, your business, but, you know, don't let somebody else's, you know, year 5 or year 10 discourage your, you know, year 1. You know, it all looks different, you know, everywhere. You know, even if, you know, think about your supporters, you know, the first thing we want to do is want to call our family members and get them to buy your product, get them to come and get a burger, you know, come and buy a shirt. And that does not happen. And doesn't let that discourage you. You know, you want to seek outside customers, you know, figure out their opinion and, you know, things like that. But don't get discouraged. You know, create a lane, you know, create your own lane.
All right, Brandon, what about you? Competition that you faced, and then just how you figured out what your competitive advantage is, and how you marketed that.
When you say competition, it makes me think of who is my competitor, which is like basically how I fit into the fashion market. You know, what are, you know, what other brands do my client buy, you know, and that'll be people that are already big, the Donna Karens, the Versace's, the Valentinos. Those are the people who I'm actually inspired by, you know. So they're my competitor, but at the same time, they're like fueling me to go harder and do my best. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's competition. I use it as fuel to force me to be more creative and to reach their status.
Yes, I love that perspective. Life is all about it. It's all about your outlook and how you're taking things in. What one might perceive as a negative, if you try to find the good in it and figure out what you can learn from it. Same thing with the L's, like turn that into a lesson, figure out the good that you could take from that, and just keep pushing forward. Okay, this I like this one. Did you use any community resources to get started or maintain your business? So being a little bit more specific, what did you guys leverage or use to get you going?
I don't know. You say, I don't know. It's community resources. That's a big question, a big thing. And, you know, what is in your community? You know, that may look different for everybody. Um, I don't think there's like a handbook, you know, at least I didn't have one to get started on your business. And so a lot of it was trial and error. Um, you know, and maybe, you know, you don't find out, oh, this place finds my customers for me, but you don't figure that out until year 2 or 3. And so resources are something, you know, that are good, you know, but I don't depend on them, but you definitely want to locate, you know, and so resources that may be figuring out which your city or county, you know, requires for you to open up a donut shop. You know, and also resources could be your job coach. It could be this program, you know, how to get you closer to your goal.
Yeah, Brandon, anything that you would add to that?
Yeah, I didn't have community resources. Like when I was coming up, there was nobody doing what I was doing that I have access to. But as I learned and as I started to brand myself, I definitely had to use the community to get the name out. So what does that look like? That looks like Brandin Vaughn telling everybody about what the Brandin Vaughn Collection is. It's telling the community like, I have these services, come and shop with me, come and walk into the store. So if I guess that's a community resource, using the community and spreading the word and selling your brand, because that's the most important thing you can do as an entrepreneur, is to tell the community that you're here to serve and provide them goods.
Definitely. And I mean, we're definitely living in a different age where marketing could be a whole lot easier than it used to be, with social media being such a pivotal tool for you guys. It really changed the game. So having those reposts on Facebook, sharing stories and all that stuff on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, it's just a way to get brand recognition out there, which I think is definitely one of the bigger keys for companies when they're getting started, is just, you know, because word of mouth is going to be one of the biggest ways for you to start to bring in new customers. Leslie,
that's all you should be talking about. Like any person you come across, that's all you should be telling them about, is your brand and what you offer them and what you can offer them and what they can offer you. You know what I'm saying? That's all community. That's all community is, and it's supposed to be, you know.
yeah, Leslie, anything that you would add to that? Just kind of community resources that are out there and available?
So from my knowledge, AG, I've been here for 9 years. So at the time when the company started, I think I came 2 weeks after the doors opened. We didn't get our first customer until 2 weeks after I started in 2012. And that was my job. I literally didn't find nothing to help us out. Alan at the time worked a night job. And so he would go to work at night, and then in the daytime, when he had the energy, he would come in to the office and we would bounce ideas off each other. And if he was too tired, he would just go home, because he was working a night job. So initially, that's how he started. He worked a night job and he ran a business in the daytime.
The trend I see here is, hard work. Nothing is handed to you. And I think this pandemic shown a lot of people, legislation, politics, politicians, everybody, that how hard it is to operate a business, but also how hard it is for Black owned businesses. And so while we may not have all the answers for what resources are here because they weren't available to us, there may be some out there, and maybe, people like you and I, we can create opportunities, we can create mentorships and things like that. But, don't let that be a discouraging point as well, because, we had to, okay, I want to do this, but how do I do it? And it's making a way, just making something out of nothing. It's showing up, when you only get 2 likes on a post, like, why do I want to keep going? You got to keep going, just to showing up. Some days you may make 1 sale, some days you make no sales, but you're showing up every day as if you're making $1 million. And you have to keep that mindset. You have to keep that mindset. And, and also just understand, you have different barriers that face every industry, people, hopefully that does change, but this is where we are now.
All right, we've gotten this one twice. Just your future goals. What's long-term plan look like? And then someone asked if there are any other Black businesses that you aspire to collaborate with.
My future goal is basically to dress the world. I want to make my clothes accessible to everybody in the world. And why? Because I enjoy that feeling when I see a person put a garment on their back, and the confidence that they get wearing my garments. It really makes me feel like that's my purpose. And to employ at least 50 people making at least $50,000 a year. I'm comfortable in my life, and now it's time to grow my business to make other families comfortable, and give them an opportunity to work in the industry and have a career, and have used this as a way to support their lives and family. So just taking the brand and making it international, and participating in international fashion events.
Nice. And any other Black businesses that you aspire to collaborate with?
All Black businesses that align, that stand for the same things that I stand for. I'm all about collaboration. That's how I got to my success today. Is because I collaborate with people. Fashion goes hand in hand with everything. You wake up and you think about, what do you put on, so I'm open to collaborate with anybody, any photographer, any model, any actor, anybody who has to go to work, yeah, I'm open.
Leslie, what about you? The future goals for the business, and any other Black businesses that you aspire to collaborate with?
Okay, so future goals is to get me an assistant. No, but to still be around for the legacy of our children, and for people to go into their homes and to see like pictures on the wall and be like, okay, AG photography, I know Leslie, I know Alan, I know Gara, like they were so awesome. It was amazing. And for people to be like a household name, that's a future goal. Like everybody talks about, all the celebrities. You have Beyonce, you have Barack Obama. I want to be that household name. Black businesses to collaborate with. So we do collaborate with a lot of Black owned businesses as far as in the wedding industry, but I would love to collaborate with Brandin and Tasha.
I was waiting for that.
Brandin and Tasha, I gotta come bring my kids to get a burger, and I definitely want to come shop for them at Brandin Vaughn so we can. We gotta do a photo shoot. So
absolutely.
Working happening right here before our eyes. Tasha, future business goals and Black businesses that you aspire to work with?
Yeah, so, you're thinking about the future, thinking about, what more
Is
you
Tasha
want.
still there? I can't see her on my phone.
Can you
Yeah,
say that?
she's here.
Okay.
She was talking.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Burger 809 has a bright future. um, you know what? I think we have so much going on. But I guess the biggest thing we have is we're looking for a new home. I've been kind of tight-lipped about that, but I think I need to start, just talking about it, speaking it to existence. But we
You
are
leaving?
definitely.
You leaving?
Am. I am. We're so tiny, and we're growing out of our space. And again, sometimes something happened, and it's like you get comfortable and you have to get up. It's time to change things, and we're in a position now to where we can grow. And so we're taking a step back, downsizing to figure out how that looks like. So we're weekends only, starting yesterday. So we can prepare for our new bigger space. But we want to offer dining, seating, and just provide an overall great experience for our customers. We've been, hustling and grinding throughout this pandemic. Just for the last almost 6 years, we've been in a brick and mortar for 2 years. And I say that to say, we didn't always have a restaurant. I started off making food at home, and then it graduated to a commercial kitchen, and then Burger 809, the storefront on Cherokee Street. And so this is a big, accomplishment to be able to write my own paycheck this year for the first time, but also to be able to grow and try to manage that with everything else, with just the pandemic, depression, just with everything going on, in the climate, just keep it moving. But definitely, we're expanding. And so, hopefully I can connect with some of the youth. You can be, um, employees, help us build the team, build the brand, whatever capacity that you have. But we're looking to expand and grow, and I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Hey, Brandon, Felicia threw herself out there. She's a model. She said, come through.
Oh, me and Felicia already got like magazine covers together.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, we burning it up out here.
That's what's up. See, I didn't even know. Y'all already got the connection moving and shaking. Okay, we have a couple of strategic questions in here, so I'll just kind of try to couple them all together since we only have a little less than 10 minutes left. But you guys just kind of pick and choose of that what you want to answer. So we're trying to figure out how you got started. So like in the beginning, and then how you kept developing that. We have some questions about costs, so tips as far as money is concerned, and then we have some more strategic questions just about location, marketing, costs of and additional costs of that nature. So I think people are really getting into the actual business development side of starting a business. So if you have startup costs advice, how you chose the location of your business, and then marketing. So just kind of coupling all that stuff together. So some more strategic business development questions there. And
Startup costs. Yep. I didn't have. I'll just try to run through them all. I didn't have a budget. I didn't have a startup budget. I just started working. And as I worked, I began to tell people what I was doing, and things just start falling in place. That's really how it happened. When I opened my storefront, I had moved from the Del Mar Loop, and I told myself I wasn't going to open another store. But then the opportunity came to where it did make sense for me not to have a store, given the numbers that the developer who owned the property was giving me. So I just hit the streets. I hit the community, and I told them, like, please come and be a part of this. Please support me. If you want to see me in a location, then here's the donate button, and I was just stepping out on faith at that point. And next thing you know, like, people started donating. Like in a week's time, I had first month's and last month's rent, because I let people know, and I made people, feel like they could be a part of it. And I think that's really what branding is, telling people your story, making them a part of it, and inviting them to be a part of the brand. That's how I've been successful, and that's how I've maintained this thing.
Brandon, did you give out ownership stakes for those donations? No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
no, y'all don't own it, but
I'm just kidding.
you can come own a garment.
Right. All right. Leslie, do you have anything to add to that, just as far as strategic goals or plans?
So throughout the years of speaking to Alan and us just having many conversations, he stated that he generally saved around roughly $3,000. I do initially know that he did go like shopping prior to kind of get an idea of what his cost was going to be as far as what he needed. And so that's what the night job actually did. The night job funded him the money to be able to purchase the things that he needed to purchase, to be able to go out and take pictures and do the things that he needed to do. Then for marketing, throughout the years that I've been here, Facebook, Instagram, we use something called the Knot, Wedding Wire. Those are phenomenal. However, just because someone reaches out does not close the deal. Most of our deal closers are from word of mouth. Word of mouth is one of the best marketing tools that there are. So if you treat one person right and nice and give them great service, out of the 10 people that they possibly tell, you can guarantee 5 more will come. Just because of what that one person said. Now, that doesn't mean don't do Facebook, don't do Instagram, because even if they don't book you, they still will spread the word. So, but word of mouth, I'm more tempted. And you also have to think with marketing, you have to put yourself in a consumer space, because you shop as well. Throughout life, you're going to buy things, you're going to shop, you're going to try to figure out what's the best deal, who should I give my money to. So you have to think, if I were the customer, what would attract me to my own business? So that's the mindset that you kind of want to have when you're marketing to people, but word of mouth is the number one best.
Yes. And Tasha, last but certainly not least.
I definitely agree. Just looking at some of the questions, but just get started. Like, I didn't have any money. If I would have waited till I had money, we would not be open. We would not be here. And so it's just doing what you can. And so there was a time when I'm like, I want a business. I want to own this catering company, but all I have is $50. And what could I do at that time? I could go online and apply for LLC. And that was $50. And so I started there. And then when I got paid in 2 weeks again, what can I do now? I can pay this guy $100 to do me a logo. And so it starts like that. And think about the last time you spent $50. It could have been, at the wheel, wherever. And it's like, you can do those things, but at the same time, invest in yourself. You may not be making a lot of money at the summer job, but you're making enough to start something. So that may be saving $1 or $2, a paycheck, or 5 or 10, whatever you can, to invest in your dream. And, even, to this day, I try to be mindful about how we spend things. What do we need to buy this? Is it going to contribute to the success of the brand? Can I wait for it? Things like that. But, maybe it's the light fixture. I want these lights in our restaurant. It's going to cost $500. And so I may not have 500, but I can, set aside 100 for 5 weeks, and then I have it. And it's so just breaking up those big numbers, and starting where you can. Everybody's business is going to cost more, cost less, or different prices to get started. Some businesses don't cost nothing to get started. It just starts with you, just kind of using yourself and putting yourself out there. And I forget the other part of the question, but that was.
No, that was great. Like you said, you just got to invest in yourself, whether that's the money that you have, or the time. It's really all about that discipline. And you've got to work on it every day, and keep pushing. Whether, like Brandon said, that's just when you meet somebody, you putting yourself out there, you putting your name and your brand out there. You just got to keep working at it. but yeah, so that puts us almost at the bottom of the hour. So I'll just kick it back over to Camille to close us out.
Thank you all. That's some wonderful advice, and I learned quite a bit. But I just want to reiterate, all of our panelists today and our moderator have been heavily involved in STL youth jobs in some way. Tasha was even a former job coach, and then all of our business owners today actually host youth each year at a job site. And you're all might have had previous experiences where you have been involved. Kia has been part of our other events. She's part of a corporation that's a heavy sponsor of ours. So we just have these opportunities where we can network and connect and ask these questions. But these are people that are right next door and that are in St. Louis and available to be a part of and ask questions and network. So I want to remind everyone of that, but also say thank you again, because you've been huge contributors and we appreciate your time today and dedication to STL jobs. And that's all we have. We'll be back next week with another session.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.